There's essential skills you need in Rainbow Six Siege to be great at the game. And in my opinion, a lot of the majority of the player base lacks these skills. So in today's video, I'll be learning 10 Rainbow Six Siege skills from easy to impossible, and I'll be teaching you along the way of what I'm doing and why. These essential skills will help you become a better player and rank up easily. Now, this is kind of like a spin on a video that Sunless Khan did. Link is down in the description if you want to go check that out. But let's get right into the video, guys. Do you care about your balls? Well, I care about mine. So today's video is brought to you by manscaped.com. Personally, I've been a long-term Manscaped user. Basically, the Perfect Package 4.0 is a complete hygiene and grooming kit. This razor is special because it's now their 4th generation razor. It has LED light, and they promise this won't nip your sack. Cordless and waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. It's super convenient and makes everything easier when in terms of cleaning up. One of my favorite things about the Manscaped 4.0 is it comes with a charging dock, and at the very bottom it tells you how much juice is needed and how far it is to be fully charged. Perfect Package also comes with ball deodorant and crop reviver. No matter what you're doing throughout the day, you'll stay clean and smell amazing. You know, what if you want to shave not in the shower? Where do your ball hairs go? They come with a shaving mat called a magic mat. For a limited time, when you buy the Perfect Package 4.0, you also get 2 free gifts: a travel bag and the Manscaped anti-chafing boxer brief. Start the new year off right and go to manscaped.com to get 20% off plus free international shipping. And of course, the 2 free gifts that I mentioned previously when you use code Garfield at checkout. Thank you so much, Manscaped, for protecting my balls. Now, hopefully they can protect yours. Number 1 is droning and taking map control. Now, this is Basics 101. A lot of people have a hard time understanding how to properly use their drone and then establish map control. And it's probably the easiest thing to fix. So that's why it's a number 1 on this list. Basically, you got to ask yourself, when you're droning, what are you doing with the drone and why? Are you just mindlessly droning in nothing and then wasting your drones in the prep phase? Probably. I'm going to show you an example on how to properly use your drones and communicate with your team to act off the drone and establish map control. Yo, dirt is soft, guys. I'm staying on the cam. I'm droning up dirt. Ice cold. Open up dirt as fast as possible.
Hang on.
Are you sure they're downstairs? They are. Wow. Dirt is completely clear. There's a Mel underneath the hatch on top of the box. Yo, you can low-key just take fucking dirt. Guys, we might be able to all just push site. One's oil side. I'm droning back Arsenal. Nobody's back Arsenal, bro. Oh, bro, you guys gotta keep your gun up. What I did there was basically just droned out a common place that we are going to entry or attack, which was dirt container. Because on Clubhouse, a lot of people just go for kitchen, hatch, and then dirt container. So my job as Maverick was going to take dirt container and then, you know, cut off all the angles from blue, dummies, box 2, all of that. But right away, I seen that dirt was soft, so I told my teammates, yo guys, you guys need to push this. I gave a call out that one is an oil pit, which is blue, and they just need to keep their gun up. Doing stuff like this is very beneficial because you're wasting less time. On the attacking side, you have basically the clock against you. So as quick as possible, use your drones and then act off of it. A lot of gold players, from what I've seen, they literally just drone out, they get their drone shot, and then they can't really act off the information because they're kind of just sitting there stalling, scared to take a gunfight on attack. A lot of these gold players and just a lot of players in general will play defense on attack and then attack on defense, which means they're basically playing too passive on attack and too aggressive on defense. Number 2 is timing nades. Basically, what I mean by timing nades is being able to go below and get a perfect nade off to explode them from below and get an easy kill, or just get utility off, kind of like this. Now, something I would suggest with nades, use a Z-ping for your advantage. If you don't know where something is, for example, I pinged where the door is, and the door would be right there. Understanding map knowledge really comes down to this as well, so you actually like know where you're nading. But for example, down in Sunrise, right here is usually where someone plays on behind the bomb chassis. But for this example, I'm going to quickly just show how you properly use a nade. You got to go 7 meters. The good thing about Z-pinging is it tells you how many meters away, and 7 is the best possible way to get the complete impact and you don't damage yourself, and it's good for the insta-kill. You want to cock your nade until it's basically ready to explode. This is going to take practice and it's going to be more of a muscle memory type of thing, but I'm trying to just push you in the right direction. So as you can see, 7 meters. Perfect impact. No problemo. Now let's act like the dock is on the bomb chassis, right? He's around right here. and I'm gonna get a perfect nade off. As you can tell, I released it a little bit too early, but it still got the kill. Sometimes that happens, but it's literally instant kill no matter what, because him himself is not going to expect that, because it is so fast and you cannot get away if you have a perfect cock nade. A lot of y'all struggle with recoil control 99% of the time because it's your sensitivity. I'm not gonna lie. Any good controller player, any good PC player, it's because they know their sensitivity. A lot of your guys' sensitivity is either way too fast or way too slow. I'm going to show you an example if your sensitivity is too slow, or if it's too fast, or if it's just perfect. For me, I've been on my sensitivity for quite a long time. At the moment, I'm playing on 44. I'm on a multiplier of, to be honest, off the top of my head, I don't know. So this is basically 4.4 on 800 DPI. It's basically 4.4 because of the change in you know, the decimals. As you can tell, I can basically almost have a perfect recoil spread from 12 meters. Is it perfect? No, but you know, I'm able to readjust my aim and basically be more than, you know, fine with it. Is it the tightest spread? No, it can be a lot tighter. Let's take the sensitivity, let's double it. Just for an example, let's put it on 88. So this is 8.8 on 800 DPI. This is way too fast for me. Let's go over here. I'm over adjusting now. I'm having too hard of a time of controlling my recoil because I'm trying to pull down. As you can tell, the spread is way too inconsistent compared to the tighter spread on my sensitivity. Let's divide that sensitivity, the 4.4 by 2. So I'm going to go to 22. So this is 2.2. This is too slow for me. I'm swiping my wrist around and I can't even do like a proper 180. So this, since like recoil control wise, is, I'm not gonna lie, very hard because I can't really pull down. I'm pulling down so much and it's still popping up. So personally, I can't control this. Now, if you're trying to find your own sensitivity, I would really just suggest sitting down in the terrace hunt and finding something that where you can control recoil perfectly or to your satisfaction, and then where you can properly like scan, where you can track people, where you can properly track people without, you know, breaking your arm. And you have to see if you're under adjusting when you're tracking, which means, say if somebody's running by right now, you're not really you're falling right behind them but not onto them. And if your sense is too fast, you're going to be over adjusting, which means you're basically like ahead of them. Communication is one of the most basic things about Siege, but a lot of people just lack the fundamentals of just communicating with one another and just the basic teamwork. That's why I think I thrive when I play this game in a team environment, because I'm able to do whatever's best for the team and play off my teammates the best possible way I can. I'm going to show an example of a round where there's just so many different comms coming through, and I'm going to explain why they're effective and needed and how you can do them as well. I'm gonna see if I can get a pick from CL window. I'll rappel up once we get the hatch. You guys need to journal at CS. Right there, I'm just doing basic communication, telling my teammates what I plan on doing and what they need to start doing to work towards getting the bomb down or getting picks and clearing whatever utility is plausible.
Yes, Danny?
I'm gonna go on roof and then I'll burn from ticket window for the shield if we can't force in it.
Yes, I'm grabbing hatches now.
Hopefully Flores should be able to get that shit. I didn't see fuck all on pillar. That was a very simple example, but it's something that you should be doing every round with your teammates. First, I told my teammates what I plan on doing as the hard breacher, what they need to be doing, like getting the hatch, what utility is needed to be cleared, and they started communicating with one another with what they plan on doing. For example, we had one repelled ticket. He planned on burning the bit shield on white hallway, and then the person with the utility, like a NADES or Flores, would be able to get rid of it. We're kind of laying down the groundwork for what future plans is to come into the round, so we can start to execute and take control of the map. We're doing this very early, and you need to be doing this. Next is team comp, which means that what operators that you need to be choosing. On attack, this really depends on the map, so I'm trying to give the best vague example I can. Most of the time, you're going to be needing a hard breach, whether that's a Maverick, a Sabana, whatever, or a Thermite. On a map like Clubhouse, you're usually going to need an attacking comp of a 2 hard breachers like Habana and Maverick, but that's really up to you. You gotta think of what the defending team is going to bring on the defensive end. For example, what utility, what shields. Like for example, Oregon on elbow, people usually bring shields, so a lot of people like to bring Flores because there's quite a bit of utility that's needed to be cleared. So you really got to be thinking about, once again, the utility that the defensive team will be possibly bringing. And say if you don't have enough utility to clear what's needed, you're gonna have to flip the push. But 9 times out of 10, you got to be thinking about how you can benefit the team, not how you can benefit yourself. Now, I understand a lot of people do solo queue, but at the end of the day, this is a team game. So once again, you can bring operators that can frag out but have tons of utility. For example, Zofia, of course, Ashe does bring utility when you use it. Twitch is good, but I feel like there's better options in terms of clearing utility, for example, like Flores, but she does have 3 drones, and if you are good for Twitch drones, she can be very effective. Same with Zero, of course. Once again, this comes down to you. And then on the defensive end, when you are on defense, this is going to be a vague answer as well, because there's so many different map site setups. If you're solo queue, just think about the utility your teammates can use when they're dead. And for example, like cams, BPs, which is bulletproof cams, Valkyrie is always great. Aruni is great because of the amount of gates she has for clearing utility, and of course bulletproof cams. Jaeger is always good, and there's tons and tons more. Just think about the utility first and use the utility itself. Think about how you can play off your teammates, whatever operator they're bringing. For example, if your teammate is bringing someone like a Goyo, he's going to need probably Jaeger or Wamai, so they can't clear his shield right away. Simple stuff like that is what you need to be thinking, not about playing for yourself. It's on a shield.
Really?
It's free. It's literally free for them.
Oh my god, I hate you. Pick that shit up, Timmy. Put on Astro.
Put real quick.
Like the
Put on Astro! Now, POV is something very hard to understand. So I'm going to explain it to you guys because a lot of you guys don't understand perspective and you guys think you're getting ghosted. Now, on the right hand side, you can see Doc cannot see Ashe from the slightest unless I swing wide. If you hold too close of an angle on a door frame, you're going to get perspective because the camera is not at where your shoulder is, or it's like, I'm pretty sure it's at the middle of your player model's face or the top of their head. I believe it's the middle of their face. So when you're holding really tight angles onto door frames, you're not going to be able to see the enemy, and you're actually going to be exposing a lot of your body, especially because when you're leaning, for example, on the left hand side, or if you're leaning the wrong way on the right hand side, you know, your body is going to stick out, especially your arms and or legs. That's why, for example, when you were close on double door as Doc peeking into 90/VIP, you did not see the Ashe. But now, as you can tell, since I am holding a little bit of a longer angle and a wider angle, I'm going to be able to see the Ashe a lot easier. So did you know when you prone and you're close onto a double door, you're not actually completely hid? As you can tell, as Ashe pushed up 90, you can actually see complete Doc's body. Doc cannot see anything because of perspective. This isn't the game's fault, it's just you not understanding perspective. I can see the entire body, and you just got to be able to utilize perspective to your advantage. You got to actually think about how you're peeking into angles and whatnot. Because going into my next point, which will be Shaiko peeking, you really have to understand perspective. So it's better to hold long angles than to hold very short angles where basically the attacker or whoever can have the advantage. It's also noted that you should watch how you prone, how you lean, how you crouch, everything, because perspective factors into all of this. You're better off in some scenarios holding a lot wider swings. Like, for example, if Ashe was getting really close to the double door, as you can tell in Ashe's perspective, I can't see Doc on the pool table until like I push up all the way almost. But a Doc can see parts of Ashe's body before even Ashe can see him. So you're better off, once again, holding some wider angles and learning how to Shaiko peek and just basic peeks so you can gain information really quickly. a lot of people would be hugging walls and wonder why they're not being able to see the enemy first. It's because their hands and arms and even sometimes their head sticks out before they can absolutely see the entire, point of view into, Doc. Leaning also contributes to perspective. As you can tell, Doc is leaning the wrong way, peeking into VIP. And guess what? Ash can see Doc's complete body. And now when Doc leans the proper way, he can kind of see Ash when she swings a little bit better. Once again, it's because Ash is at a better angle than Doc. Doc is hugging the pool table, and this angle is more suitable for watching 90 or watching VIP, not watching the vase walk up. So in conclusion, when you're holding angles, just be aware of how your body is sticking out, whether you're proning, crouching, leaning the proper way, and holding longer style, wider angles, rather than being really close up to door frames, because a lot of the times your body is exposed, even if you don't think it's exposed. Okay, so basically what you want to do is you're going to want to try to find what side you're strongest on, and you're going to want to practice with that, because once you get the movement down on one side, it's going to be a little bit easier to understand the muscle memory on the other side. So if you don't understand what I mean, for example, I'm stronger on my left side. I can do it way more fluent when I'm leaning the left way. When I'm leaning the right way, it's a little bit more challenging and it's not as fluent as, it should be, because I just haven't really practiced it. But anyways, so let's explain it on the left side first. So say you're leaning on the left side, right? This is what it should look like. Of course, mine's a little bit rough around the edges. Not the most mechanically gifted player, but it works out for me. Anyways, so you want to start out leaning. Basically, you want to press A if that's like your go-to left key, and then immediately A, E, and D. And then Q really fast. So basically, like, what it's doing right now is I'm going from I'm kind of putting my body, like, swinging in the motion of the left side with the 1A press, and then I'm canceling my swing with the E and D, because D is moving me to the right and E is changing my player model perspective. So I'm going to explain it because I have two PCs and I have it hooked up because I'm a nerd. So this is my Smurf account. So basically I move to the left, I lean, and as you can see, it changes the player model, because when you lean, your body and head movement is kind of shorter than just straight up standing up, because you're kind of leaning to the, you're tilting your head. So it's gonna be like that. And as you can see on Doc's perspective, since he's leaning the wrong way, I'm gonna lean him the right way. If I can understand perspective enough, I can get quick information on him without him being able to react. You have to have like a crazy reaction time to be able to kill me. He's only seeing my hand basically because of the way the leaning is. Now on the right side, say I want to lean, I want to learn how to quick lean with my right. Basically, I'm hitting D, so I'm kind of moving to the right, swinging almost one time, easy press, and then at the same time after that, I'm hitting Q and A. So I basically cancel the right side lean, and I cancel the movement to my right. So I get out of frame. And then I just hit E again. So it's going to basically look like this. Now from my perspective, I'm seeing his entire body, right? I'm seeing his head, his legs, part of his arm and like shoulder. And the only thing he's seeing is my arm, but if I swing too wide to do the Scheikel beak, you're seeing my entire body. So you need to understand how to manipulate your body and perspective so you can actually use it to your advantage. Map tricking is probably one of the hardest things just in general for newer players and even veteran players, because they don't understand how the physics work behind map tricking. So a lot of people get turned off on Mav. But Mav is probably one of the most beneficial operators to bring on the team, since Thatcher is banned 90% of the time. You could, of course, for example, if we have a bandit on the other team, I can just put a little hole, put another hole, shoot both bandit wires off, or just go below a nade or impact, or you know, whatever. But a lot of the times people don't utilize bandit that much compared to Cade, because Cade is a lot harder to deal with. So a lot of the times what you're having to do is you're gonna have to map trick. So this is a skill that you need to know. So basically, starting out, what you're gonna have to do at the very top, make sure you get rid of the little reinforcement right there on the top left. You're not going to want to ADS, and you're just going to want to look to the right, or if you want to go to the other side, you look to the left. I go left to right because it's just easier. See how there's this metal pole in the middle? I destroyed it. Once again, metal pole. See how it's still connected? I destroy it. Right side. Perfect. At the bottom, you get the bottom left reinforcement. Make sure that's gone. Usually you can hear it break. Personally, I like to prone because it's a lot easier, but your body does get exposed. See how the wall is now soft because of this? You can, of course, don't rush it, because that's what happens right there. As I tried to rush the map trick, and I actually put a weird, you know, miss hole. As you can tell, I got the bottom as well. Now, personally, see how I missed that little piece right there? That little reinforcement piece can keep the entire wall whole. Now, this was a very sloppy way of doing a map reinforcement. I just wanted to show you a visual representation of what you have to do. So just in conclusion, you have to get the top left. Make sure the top left is burned off. The middle, once you do a line. And then the right. And then there's going to be like a little reinforcement at the top right. Make sure that's gone. The bottom left, same thing. You burn a line. Make sure you're not doing it too low, because that's, I think, what happened right there. You do a line, and then one half of the wall should go soft, and then you keep doing another line, and then the bottom right. And then you should get this, a complete soft wall. This is for a double panel, of course. Now, there are tricks where you can open a single wall with just like going at the top and then bottom, which I might show you actually. But once again, you can use the nade trick and open a hole if you don't have, you know, Zofia, Sledge, Buck, any soft destruction, and you need, you know, you have a nade, and it's just an extra little, you know, and it's just something, it creates like an impact hole, basically. So with hatches, what you're going to want to do is, of course, don't expose your body. For example, this hatch, say, because there's no Cade charge on it, I can just go from the outer part. And see how I'm creating like a line at the very edge of it? Basically, you want to do that for a complete U. So look at this. Of course, not exposing my body. Watch for C4. You might miss a spot like I just did. Sometimes the hatch is a pain in the ass. Look at it. Like, look at this shit. And I fall through. But see that little piece? It's not even like a U. It's more like an L. And I used maybe like a canister and almost 2 canisters just on a hatch. You can get more efficient to, you can get to like a canister and a half, but it's really that easy, to be honest. Now this map trick is probably one of my favorite ones. Very odd though, because I'm not too sure what single walls it works on. I don't know if it works on every single one, but for example, burn the top and then burn the bottom. And it makes it completely soft for some reason. As you can tell, like the perimeter of it, very top, and it makes it completely soft. And what did I use? Like, I don't know, 60% of a canister? No, 40 actually. Wow. Same thing right here. Completely soft. Don't know why it does that, but yeah, it's a lot, like, seems a lot simpler than making a circle, and you're at less of a, you know, critical point where they can just swing and, you know, shoot you from dirt. Let's try on this single wall and con. Seems like with every single wall, it like almost works, but keep in mind I only use it on this dirt wall. Number 9 is utilizing utility. Now, understanding why you're doing something is the main objective of utilizing the utility. On attack, a lot of the times you need to establish control. You need to get vert control, which means you need to get vertical. For example, on screen you're seeing my man Ice Cold struggling to open the kitchen hatch. His positioning was very odd here because he misopened the hatch in a very wrong way that exposed his body. And to be honest, looking at his comp lineup, he had 3 hard reachers, including Habana. Even though Habana's dead, they're not utilizing their utility properly. Nobody made vert holes, which means they didn't play vertical in kitchen, and it was just honestly silly. It was just a bad round on their part. I'm going to show you a decent example of playing off of utility, which is how I played on Boiler, on Oregon, downstairs. I was using the Goyo shield and ADS and NADES to get aggressive and playing off my teammates.
Falcon detonated. Full flash, I can't see.
That's Twitch. Yo, back main, sun call.
I'm holding a passive angle main.
That's Soph, back. Yeah, keep it up. I'm here, I'm here. Yo, backstairs, backstairs. Somebody needs to swing.
Okay, Jaeger's that. No. He's prone out there.
That's fine, I'm here.
Remember, if you die, you gotta eat fucking don't talk to me, man.
He's rotating. Daze.
Should I give this up?
Yeah, give it up, get up. We wasted some time.
Yeah, give it up.
They brought the main hatch sledge, and I don't know.
Okay, I'm here.
No.
That's Ash.
Freezer.
That's Sledge. The reason why I put utilizing utility so high up is because you had to use a lot of things I said before to utilize utility properly. Like, for example, communication and team comp is 2 of the bigger things. I have to play around the proper util that's needed, and I need to constantly communicate with my teammates to properly use utility. This is why it's so complex. If you're not bringing the right operators, then you can't utilize the right utility. If you can't communicate, then you can't utilize the utility. So this is kind of like a 2-in-1 thing. You need to always be communicating with your teammates, whether it's your positioning, what you're hearing, any type of intel, and where to place the utility and how to play off of the utility. This is something you need to be mindful with, and it's going to take time for you to actually break this down and become good at. Last but not least is positioning. This is probably the most common question I get asked about how can I improve my positioning, or yo man, I'm having a hard time ranking up, I don't know why, and then they give me a spiel on what rank they are and how good they are with their KD and all this. None of that shit matters. If you're struggling to rank up, it's because you have poor positioning. I don't care if you have the best mechanics out there. If you can't position yourself properly in gunfights and know when to rotate your body and when to get aggressive or when to stay passive, you're not going to win rounds, and honestly you're going to be a really annoying teammate to play with. A lot of people have this like idea that you can just run around and gun, and that can only get you so far. So when it comes down to positioning, I did a whole video, if you want to watch that, where I show more examples. Click at the top right. But in terms of positioning, something you need to try to understand is whenever you make a mistake, ask yourself, how could have you positioned yourself better? How could have you played off your teammates a little better? Could you go a better operator and then position yourself better with your utility? And this is why it's the hardest thing on this list, because you have to literally use every single thing I put beforehand to utilize and understand positioning. This is an expert level thing. And it's going to take a really long time for you to understand how to properly position yourself in every scenario. The great thing about Siege is you can always make mistakes and learn from them, and that's what you need to be doing. You need to be your biggest critique and stop blaming your teammates for every little thing, because even though you might be solo queuing, just because you can't get past gold doesn't mean it's always your teammates' fault. I literally went to console on a controller, literally and got plat 1 with the worst mechanics just off of positioning. So on defense, you need to ask yourself how you can waste as much time and how you can benefit your roamers if you're not the one roaming, or how you evaluate where your teammates are positioned. You need to benefit off of their position and see a gap in your defense. On attack, you need to do basically the opposite. You need to figure out who's droning or who's establishing what control. If something's not being taken, that's a critical role in your attack. Like for example, part of the map, ask your teammate to do something and take that position, or you do so by either droning yourself in or getting a teammate to drone you in. Once again, this comes down to utilizing everything I said in today's video, like utilizing utility, communication, all of that. But I just want you to know, if you're on defense and you have like 4 people roaming, you're probably doing something wrong, unless you're doing a very in-depth strat that's beneficial and there's a lot of communication going through it. And if you're all sitting in sight, you have bad positioning, because 5 people should not be sitting in sight and giving the attackers all map control. And for the attackers, if all you guys are pushing one area and you can only watch one angle, all 5 of you, you're definitely doing something wrong. And if you guys are baiting for kills, unless you're stuck in a 1v5 with, 2 minutes left, you're probably doing something wrong. Of course, you can work for picks or whatnot, but if you're constantly last alive, most of the time it just means you have bad positioning. But let me show you an example of aggressive positioning that works out. Sometimes you're going to make a play and it works out. Sometimes you're not, and you're going to get smoked and you learn from it. See that no scope? Clip! I was able to do this because I saw my teammates pressuring wine, so I decided to get aggressive and try to get the central pick of Mirror. Of course, I got lucky with a no scope and caught Mute with his pants down, and then as soon as I heard them open up the breach, I ran at Maestro because he wasn't going to hear me and he was being pressured too hard. This is what you need to be thinking about in terms of getting aggressive. A lot of you guys are very passive, and don't be scared to try to make a play and let your teammates know, because you guys can basically sandwich like I kind of just did. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to like, sub, and comment. This video took a little bit just to record and edit and just get some proper, insightful, videos and just explanations behind it, because explaining positioning is honestly kind of difficult. Once again, I do have a playlist for tips and tricks. If you guys go want to watch that, that'd be mad helpful for you guys. Besides that, if you guys do enjoy the video and you made it this far into the video, I just want to say thank you so much and have a lovely day.